TV on Channel 8.
Hey, the newsman. Hey, Joe. Hey, I want to know where my Paul Harris tape is for the break.
It's on tape 2, Charlie.
I better get it ready.
It's on tape 2.
Give me a radio on
Take it. Hit audio tape. Roll.
Somebody rolling 4.
Tape 4. Ready, roll video tape 1. Sound on tape.
If I got tape 4 for the center, roll it.
Change. Stand by on the floor. Change. Ready, text. Ready, dissolve effect. Stand by. Hit your text dissolve.
This is WISH-TV, serving the 14th market in the nation, with an eye toward the local look.
Good evening. I'm Mike Ahern. In the early 50s, a revolution was taking place in the United States. The most powerful and influential communications medium of all time was being created. The effects of that medium are still being argued today. Well, whatever its effect, no one can deny its importance in shaping the lives of Americans and citizens of all the world. Nobel Prize winner Alexander Solzhenitsyn has said, "An avalanche of events descends upon us. In 1 minute, half the world hears their splash." This is the story of a television station. One station which has had a small part in this revolutionary dissemination of entertainment and information to its viewers for the past 20 years. At exactly 44 seconds past 5:56 p.m. on Thursday afternoon, July 1st, 1954, a new television station came to life in Indianapolis. Its pictures appeared on Channel 8. Its call letters were WISH-TV. Now, many of you will probably remember most of the people and programs you're going to be seeing here in the next half hour. The early local performers, the first programs, a few of the people behind the scenes who helped make it all possible. Before television, there was radio. WISH Radio, on the air since 1941, had moved in 1950 from the Board of Trade building into new facilities at 1440 North Meridian Street in the Riddick building. The studios were large and impressive, big enough it was hoped for a television station someday. There were live radio shows from the Riddick Auditorium and studios, featuring such performers in shows as Bill Faulkner's Capitol Capers, John Frame News, Luke Walton's Sports, Chuckles Chapman's Open House, Virginia Byrd at the organ, and this fellow, a young up-and-coming newsman named Vince Leonard. On June 18, 1952, an application was filed with the Federal Communications Commission for a TV station. The new station would be the most powerful in Indiana and would have one of the tallest antennas in the nation, 4 times as high as the monument on the Circle. A group of local businessmen headed by C. Bruce McConnell, president of Universal Broadcasting Company, owner of WISH Radio, announced the station would use Channel 8 and hoped to be on the air as soon as possible. The application with the FCC was finally approved and work was begun on the new station. The new tower was constructed at the WISH radio tower site at Post Road and Rawls Avenue. A new 3-story addition to the WISH radio studio was constructed and completed in time for the opening telecast. The station was officially opened in a dedicatory telecast July 1st, 1954, by C. Bruce McConnell, president of the station, and vice president and general manager Robert B. McConnell. A multitude of new programs, national and local, appeared through the facilities of the new Channel 8. Viewers saw local personalities Kay Field, Bill Faulkner, Virginia Byrd, Chuckles Chapman, Gene Allison, Catherine Daniels, Dee Sweet with her Sweet Time series. They were treated to live, on-the-spot coverage of local events, such as the Capehart FHA hearings held in Indianapolis. In the early years, WISH-TV produced countless programs from its studios and from on-location remote telecasts. New faces soon became favorite personalities with Central Indiana viewers. And WISH-TV was the first station in Indiana with a full-facility news film equipment. An early religious favorite was Chapel Door.
Lo, the hosts of evil round us scorn thy Christ, assail his ways. Fears and doubts too long have bound us. Free our hearts to work and praise. Grant us wisdom, grant us courage for the living of these days.
The name Chapel Door was changed to Meditation 5 years ago, but the idea behind the program, a moment of religious reflection, remains the same. Kay Field was the Channel 8 weather girl, and viewers look forward to her unique way of presenting the weather.
Hello, wasn't it a beautiful day today? Well, our high today, the hourly high was 40 degrees, the low last night 16, humidity now 39%, the winds are out of the south at 14 miles per hour, and just to prove a point, the point has arisen again. Some people are trying to decide, do I or do I not write backwards? We'll prove it again. Here we go. I'll come from behind, put the present temperature up here, 34 degrees, station pressure 29.15, and at sea level 30.01, and the pressure is falling. And you know it's more difficult for me to write the right way on this glass map. Well, across the country today, there was very little precipitation. The big weather news is really in temperatures. Except for a little snow and light rain here in Washington State, the temperatures were the big news. For instance, Fargo, North Dakota, 49 degrees.
WISH-TV became a part of Corinthian Broadcasting Corporation in 1956, and Corinthian is now a division of Dun & Bradstreet Companies. Also in 1956, the Ampex Corporation moved a mysterious object into their suite in Chicago at the National Association of Broadcasters Convention. It was shrouded in complete secrecy. The opening day of the convention, the secret was revealed, a working model of a videotape recorder. The WISH-TV executives were so impressed with the demonstration, they ordered a machine on the spot. WISH-TV became the first station in Indiana, one of the first in the nation to own a videotape machine. Channel 8 was a pioneer in the use of videotape in local programming. The eyes of the entire broadcasting industry were upon the installation and use of this videotape machine. In the middle and late 50s, television was beginning to develop a counterpart to the radio disc jockey programs. They were called dance parties. WISH-TV's was called Rhythm Carnival, and its host was a young man named Dick Summers.
So maybe Sue's going to be running around for a picnic or something on these kind of Indian summer days. Gee, it's pretty out there today. I'll have a weather forecast later on to clue you on what's going to happen for the whole day and tomorrow. But this is a very fine combination in case you happen to be of a mind to run around and have a last-minute type picnic affair. Actually, it's a very nice idea if you're just figuring on having an extra special dinner at home. And you can make any dinner extra special. A little Royal Crown Cola to add to the situation, huh? The Fresher Refresher. You know why we call it the Fresher Refresher? It's a very, very good reason.
WISH-TV was the first station to televise the 500 Festival Parade. In 1957 was the inaugural year for the parade, and the Channel 8 cameras were there. Other events of local interest and importance were televised in the late 50s and early 60s. The State Fair was a favorite. Another favorite was a young lady who appeared on the local TV scene in 1959 and went on to become a national personality. The first TV exercise girl, Debbie Drake.
Hello, everyone, and say, boys and girls, better run get mother because it's time for Passport to Beauty. And hello to you, Debbie. How are you?
Hi, Gene, and hi, ladies. Gee, at this time of the week, I feel like you need extra encouragement because the weekend coming up, and sometimes we have a tendency to let our hair down and just eat a few extras, thinking that Monday we'll start all over again. Well, let's don't do that this week. I'll tell you what, let's do. Saturday and Sunday, let's take the kids for a hike, or maybe a walk around several blocks, and you'll feel much better than overindulging in extra pastries and breads and fattening foods. Well, right now, let's do a warm-up. And our hands in front, and then touch behind, and stretch, and relieve the tension in your neck and shoulders, and limber yourself up in preparation for more exercises we'll be giving you later on. And stretch, and stretch, and hold that tummy in, and stretch, and stretch. I keep reminding you of that because you don't know the importance of it. You need to practice tightening it all day, not just when you're exercising, but all during the day. Now for the waist, and stretch and the waist, and over and touch, and stretch. And take your right hand down your leg, and the left hand down the left leg, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch, and stretch.
Yes, well, it's easy to see why Debbie was a popular personality, along with the CBS network programs of that era. See how many of these programs you remember. Vince Leonard, long the favorite newscaster in central Indiana, was replaced by a newsman from Fort Wayne, Richard Hickox. Hickox was teamed with a new sports director, Jim Wilson, and soon the Hickox-Wilson team, with the help of the capable Channel 8 news staff, were producing the most-watched newscast in central Indiana. The Channel 8 news staff grew considerably during these years in terms of personnel and equipment. The production of local newscasts became increasingly sophisticated. The WISH-TV news and production staff experimented with new methods to better present visualization of the news, as well as more statewide coverage of events across the state. This face and voice might be familiar.
In the Senate today, a key administration tax measure was passed. The bill would require all employers to withhold gross income taxes from employees, except domestic or farm workers. A bill to prevent milk sales at below-cost prices was passed after a brief but heated debate. The measure would also create a dairy products pricing control board. Two other important bills were approved by the Senate, one to create a separate Department of Mental Health, and the other to require equal pay for equal work by women. 500 festival boosters were entertained last evening at the fashionable home of Mr. and Mrs. Frank McKinney on Willow Spring Road. Members of the press were extended a thankful salute by the committee for the part played in developing the festival concept. Nuts, bolts, and wrenches were used as decorations to announce that the Mechanics Banquet will become part of Festival Week. This year's banquet will be held in the Murat Temple, May 23rd. Theme for that banquet will be the golden anniversary of the 500. On the cheerful side, Secretary of Labor Arthur Goldberg says Congress will start action Monday on President Kennedy's bill to provide additional subsistence payments to unemployed who have exhausted their benefits. And the president is doing something to help to supply food for a flood of Cuban refugees who have entered this country. A multi-million-dollar aid program being set up. It will provide jobs, homes, food, schooling, and health care for about 66,000 who fled the Castro regime. On the dark side, the number of workers drawing jobless benefits climbed to a record high in the week which ended January 21st. This misery is compounded by the fact that the automobile manufacturing industry will lay off 80,000 men next week and the week after. The largest group will be at General Motors, 45,000 layoffs. American Motors will lay off 20,000, and about 13,500 slated to be laid off at Ford. Unemployment always aggravated by bad weather, and the experts agree that this winter has been one of the worst. New winter snow is sweeping over much of the eastern half of the nation tonight. Snow, sleet, and rain moving up the east coast from the south, and snow has crippled much of the Middle West. The weather has caused at least 19 deaths. Hundreds of schools were closed, transportation tangled by up to a foot of snow in many areas. Here in the Midwest, snow depths of 3 to 6 inches have caused much slipping and sliding, many accidents, and disrupted traffic. The city's newly purchased snow equipment got a workout today and made the downtown section presentable. The mayor stated that the highway workers for the state, who usually hit the Indiana thoroughfares going through our city, stopped at the city limits this time, and there was no explanation. Spring may be a little late this year.
That was 13 years ago, and as you can tell, everything changes and nothing changes. Here's another test for all you early Channel 8 watchers. Remember Irving Leibowitz, June Ford, or how about Cowboy Clyde? See how many of these faces, programs, and events you can recall.
A friend of mine had to trade these in on a new set. Wouldn't stop chattering after he saw our show last Friday. Remember, Friday night is Fright Night on Channel 8.
Yes, Channel 8 had the first horror host in the Indianapolis market. Selwyn presided every Friday night as the resident ghoul. He then graduated to a spacesuit and set the world's record for continuous roller coaster rides at Riverside Park. Later, he appeared in a jungle costume for this Tarzan movie.
Oh, good evening. I was just checking my cell Winchester. Incidentally, those of you who were with me last week may recall I introduced a new character, and here it is. Yes. Personally, I think it is a fine addition to the show, but unfortunately, we have no name for it. It is a rather awkward not knowing exactly how to address it, you know. It's it's very bad manners to say, hey, you, or say, what's your name? I've told my staff of writers about this problem, but creative as they are, they have not been able to come up with a name. Well, in view of this fact, I have come up with this marvelous idea. I am going to let you, my viewers, name the vine for me.
Just for the record, the winning name was Handy Divine. In the middle 60s, it became apparent that WISH-TV was in need of more space to house its growing staff and increasing equipment. A corner lot at 20th and Meridian was purchased, and the new building was begun. The building was carefully planned to be an efficient and compact production facility, as well as a stimulating, creative working environment. It was to become a forward-looking showcase for this most modern entertainment medium. A white sculptured colonnade encloses the two-story glass veneer wall building of more than 30,000 square feet. The building was not quite complete when the big move from 1440 to 1950 North Meridian Street took place. The WISH-TV staff, with the help of professional movers, completed the move in record time. In fact, Channel 8 never missed a minute's worth of programming during the move. The building was soon ready for its official opening and dedication. It was obvious the building was versatile and well planned. The working atmosphere was excellent. On August 1st, 1965, the dedication of the building was televised by WISH-TV.
The Honorable John J. Barton, Mayor. Thank you, Bob. Reverend Lynch, Governor Rock, Mr. Whitney, Mr. Petersmeyer, and distinguished guests. It is indeed a great pleasure for me to take part in the dedication of this fine new television facility for the city of Indianapolis. This event, Bob, has a special significance for me, as I was born and lived the larger portion of my life right in this neighborhood. And it is gratifying to me to see the progress that our city has made in this short period of time.
On Palm Sunday, 1965, a series of devastating tornadoes ripped through Indiana. Stan Wood, Channel 8 weatherman, was on the air immediately with weather warnings and bulletins. The Channel 8 mobile videotape van, including reporter Bob Glenn, went into the hard-hit areas to bring a report to Indiana viewers and to the nation through the CBS network.
24 hours ago, here at the Chrysler Corporation plant in Kokomo, the skies were black. A tornado struck this section, known as Section 78 of the huge Chrysler Corporation span. This is where Chrysler manufactures parts for automatic transmissions. A tornado is a devastating thing, and you don't really realize how devastating until you visit the aftermath. Yesterday, these were shiny new automobiles. Today, they're covered with mud, demolished, windshield smashed, headlights gone. Nothing but rubble now. One car thrown with the force of the tornado on top of two others, mashing all three. Huge trees, telephone poles, uprooted by the force the tornadic winds. These are all parts that were to go into the manufacture of automobiles. Before they ever got into a new automobile, they're already in the junkyard. A huge trash can, battered like a small tin can. This is the scene at the Chrysler plant following the worst tornado in Indiana's history. This is Bob Glenn in Kokomo.
In 1967, WISH-TV brought a young newscaster, from the looks of this picture, a very young newscaster, from radio into television. I was teamed with newsman Bob Glenn. In fact, WISH-TV had the state's first dual anchorman newscast, as well as the state's first hour-long newscast. Stan Wood and Jim Wilson remained important members of the news team, which has made Channel 8 the leading news station in the state. The news department continued to grow in size and equipment as viewers began to depend more and more on television as their primary source of news. From 1965 through 1969, WISH-TV created and produced an annual college talent program. Outstanding college performers selected through a series of auditions on campuses all over the state. The programs were frequently videotaped in scenic locations like the Indiana State Parks and college campuses.
Let it shine, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine every day. I'm gonna let my little light shine.
We're children needing other children.
News documentary specials, the covering of important news events live and on film, as well as through comprehensive reporting of election results, have always marked WISH-TV as the station to watch for information on the local scene. Channel 8 will continue to produce the programs, the news coverage, the personalities to bring entertainment and information to the viewer. But many of the people you see on WISH-TV seem like old personal friends. They come into your home every day and you share part of your day with them. We hope you'll continue to be welcome visitors. Many behind-the-scenes faces, unfamiliar to viewers but tremendously important in terms of getting the picture to the viewer, have been with the station since its inception. Faces behind the camera as well as on camera will come and go, of course, as years progress. However, Channel 8 will continue to present the passing parade of human events, the joys, the tragedies, the good news, and the bad. Channel 8 will continue to be a mirror of the society in which we live, hopefully a very good mirror, to help us see the world better and the way we are trapped.
I, Richard G. Lugar, Mayor of the City of Indianapolis, do hereby proclaim July 1, 1974 as WISH-TV Day in Indianapolis and call upon all citizens to observe this day, recognizing the many contributions made by WISH-TV in the last 20 years to the Indianapolis area. It's a genuine pleasure to present this proclamation to you, Bob, with many thanks for tremendous contributions to this community.
Thank you very much, Mayor.
Well, congratulations to you.
Mayor.
Well done.
Thank you.
WISH, TV on Channel 8. TV on Channel 8.